We can spend a lifetime trying to wake up out of ego. We can spend a lifetime or many lifetimes trying to overcome our own separation thinking, trying to get free of the mind. Or we can spend a relatively short space of time proving to ourselves that we're already beyond that. And there is a huge difference in those two journeys. Maybe you can feel that as you just entertain the idea. So we're just going to start with this question, where am I? And it seems like a kind of a strange question to ask, but it's going to start to reveal to us where we are identified, where we are limiting ourselves, where we're not really experiencing all that we can be. So as I ask this question, you can just ask this question inside yourself, where am I actually? And perhaps the first thing that arises in answer to this question is a sense that I'm here. You know, even a sense maybe that the question is a bit silly, really. You know, why would we even ask where I am when I'm obviously here? So if we just examine that for a moment, what is this sense that I am here? What is it referring to? So first and foremost, our body is here. We know where our body is. We can say, look, it's sitting in this chair. Wherever your body is, you know where that is. But because we know it, the body, we can say, well, is that really evidence of where I am? Can I just be open to see, I know where my body is, but really still, do I know where I am? And this may be a really unfamiliar way of exploring yourself, and it may bring up some resistance, may bring up some fear, but just to explore it, to gently push through any resistance that you can, is going to begin to bring this kind of experiential understanding more and more to you. So I know where my body is, but where am I actually? The one that's looking through this body, the one that's listening to these words right now. Where are you actually? And similarly, we can say, well, I know where my thoughts are. They're happening inside my head. I know where the mind is thinking. I can see that in my awareness. I might also know where my emotions are happening. I can feel states coming and going. I can feel all kinds of experiences going on. I can notice sense perception going on in this particular body that you're sitting in, that you're living in, looking through. But if we stay with this question, is that evidence of where I am, where my body is, where my thoughts are, where my attention is, where my emotions, where my sense perception is? Or are those all things happening inside the body? Are they all functions of our wonderful human body? And is it evidence of where I am actually? So this may be a really unfamiliar way of looking, but just to stay with it, to kind of, well, actually, if I don't reference my body as my position, my location, what do I actually know about where I am? Just because a thought in my head says, well, I'm here, referencing this body, is that able to define me? When thought says, when mind says, I'm here, referencing a body, does that really state that this is where I am as the self, as the real self? Can we take any thought evidence, any emotional evidence, any sense perception as evidence of where we are actually? Are we locatable? Can we actually say, when you really look in your experience right now, can you say where you are? Can you find yourself in a particular place? And again, just contrasting that. I know where my body is, it's in this place. I know where my thoughts are happening. I know where my emotions are occurring. But where am I actually the one that is aware of all of this, the one that is the witness to all of this, the one that knows what my ears are hearing right now, what my eyes are seeing? Where am I exactly? Am I locatable? Can I pin myself down? Can I put a pin in a map and say, this is where I am, this is my location? Does it really work like that? We can do that for our body, we can do that for our mind. But can you say exactly, precisely where you are and where you aren't as well? If we really look beyond this sense that I'm here, we're not arguing with that. I obviously exist because I'm looking through this body. But am I locatable? Can I find myself in a specific place? Can I say, I am only where my body is and nowhere else? Can I say that actually, really, when I look? Feels that way. It seems that way. But can we prove that? Can you actually prove that you are only inside your body and nowhere else? Or only outside of your body and nowhere else? Do you have boundaries and a shape like your body does? My body could get up and move across the room, but could I do that? Can I really say exactly where I am? This is a really strange way of looking at ourselves. It's a really strange way of perceiving ourselves. So where are you if you actually really look? If you temporarily disregard this I seem to be in this place only. And it feels like, and it seems like, and I've just thought of myself that way for so long. If we temporarily disregard that, we know where thought thinks you are. We know where mind thinks you are. Can you find yourself? Could you point to somewhere and say, I am here, this is where I am? Do you have a location? Do you fit that category even? And as unfamiliar as this is, it might also be extraordinarily freeing as well. Maybe some fear come up with it, some confusion, because mind will be confused by this kind of inquiry. And that's okay. We don't really need our mind to understand. We can just allow that confusion and just stay open to this question. Where actually am I? My body's sitting in this chair. These words are coming out of this mouth and being heard by certain ears. Where am I actually when I really, really get quiet enough to inquire inside? Am I something that's definable like that? Am I an object that I can say is here, or I'm there, or can I actually say about myself that I'm over there, or I'm right here and not over there? If you begin to explore yourself this way, you'll find something quite surprising, that you don't actually really know where you are. Every time you've said, yes, I'm here, you've been referencing either your body or your mind or your emotions or the relationships going on through this particular body, the experiencing, the sense of experiencing. But if all of those things are temporary and going to disappear, not wrong, just temporary, can we use them to define our location? Because when they're gone, I'll feel like I'm gone. So can I dig deeper into exploring what I actually am? Where am I really? And if you disregard temporarily everything that's temporary about you, everything that's coming and going, again, none of it is wrong. We just want to find experientially that deeper aspect of ourselves that's always going to be around, that we can really begin to define ourselves as, so that we don't have any fear that we're going to go at any point. And we can get really honest in our inquiry. Where am I actually? Can I actually say, I know that I'm here, but what does that mean if I'm not referencing a body when I say that? I am present. I am here. I am this insubstantial, diffuse presence, this no thingness yet, out of which my thingness, my body, my mind, my emotions, my experiencing are arising. But where is that presence actually? Where are you? When you really get honest and look, can you be in one particular place only? And if you don't really know where you are, if you test that out inside, feel that out in your body, not knowing at all where I am, having no fixed location, or perhaps being that in which a location happens, in which locations arise. I am that in which locations happen. How does that feel to just not know where you are? Are you something that can be located? And if you really kind of push past any uncomfortableness in this kind of inquiry and really get to the point where you can admit to yourself, I don't actually know where I am. I know that I'm here, so we don't have to fear not existing. Our mind says, well, you either exist in one place or you're absent. You're either in a location or you're absent. You're either alive or dead. But we're making contact with that part of ourselves that really doesn't fit that category. It's not present in a location and then absent. It's kind of not really in any specific particular place. It's very much present. You are very much present. You're hearing these words through the body that you've manifested. But if you don't assume the body's location, where actually are you? A vague sense of here-ness is kind of presence is really what we're left with, what really fundamentally we are. That spaciousness, which is in no particular place actually, in which the body and thoughts and emotions are arising. Now, if you bear with me just a little bit longer, we can go a little bit deeper if you want to. If you can't say where you are, if you don't actually really know where you are, how do you know which thoughts are yours? How do you know which body is yours and not yours? Can you still say, my mind is really making me suffer? Can I still say, my thoughts are driving me crazy if I don't know where I am? 2, agree that my thoughts are driving me crazy, or my mind is, or this negative emotion is really overwhelming me, I have to kind of assume a location again, don't I? I have to choose to believe I am only where this body is. If I go right back to that direct experiential question, where actually am I? Do I have a location? Can I say with any amount of truth then that these thoughts are my thoughts? Or are they just thoughts happening inside a brain, happening inside a body, which is happening inside of me? It's a very different way. If I'm sure I know where I am, then I'll know where my mind is, and I'll call it my mind, my emotions, my journey to awakening, even my ego, my transcendence, my illusion, all of that. It will be taken on as a personal thing, and I'll identify with just one body, as we're taught to do as human beings, and I'll be sure that I know where I am. And in any relationship challenges, I'll be sure that I'm the one here and the other being is over there, and I might be unable to see a higher perspective. But in the middle of that disagreement in that relationship, or in the middle of needing something to come to me that I don't currently have, or wanting to get rid of something that I do have, like fear, for example, is that still true for me if I don't know where I am, if I don't know which human body is mine? So it's possible to live from this place of not knowing where you are and have this superficial sense on top that, this is my body. A superficial sense so that you can function and you remember your name and you remember when to eat and when you need to be at work and who you're married to and all of that stuff. You're not just going to kind of walk around and go, I don't know where I am actually, and I don't know if that's me or this is me. But inside, the experience is quiet because I don't know where I am. I don't know which mind to identify with. If you can really see the simplicity of this, you can hopefully really get quite excited by this question. I'm only asking you to be honest and to admit at some point inside your own self, you don't really know where you are. You only know where the manifested phenomenal aspect of you is. Those are things you can locate: a body, a mind, an emotion, an experience. We know where the ears are that are hearing these words. They're taking in the vibration. But where is the one that's listening? Where are you actually? This is a question that you can never really get an answer to, and that should be delightful. Should fill you with joy when you really, really allow that into the heart of your being. I don't actually know where I am. Always assumed that I was in one location, and therefore I identified with everything that was happening in this body and mind, and I tried to fix everything that was happening in this body and mind. But what if I don't even know that this is my body, my mind? What if I can't say that honestly anymore? Now, it doesn't mean you're not going to take care of the body, you're not going to cherish it, you're not going to love it, you're not going to be able to use it. All of that you might do even better actually. But you won't be able to automatically habitually identify with it and say, that is where I am. There'll just be this sense of, I don't know actually. This beautiful, open being which has no location at all. It cannot be, if it's diffuse and space like your real nature, if it's unmanifested, if it's formless, if it's more like the space in the room, can it be in one particular place? Can it be over here and not over there? Can it be only here and not everywhere else? And your capacity to identify will begin to change. It will begin to move from, if I ask you where you are, you won't be so convinced anymore that you're just here in one body mind. You'll begin to say, well, I'm here, and you'll mean something so much more expansive when you say, I am here. You'll begin to change what you really mean when you say those words. Experientially, right now, you cannot tell me where you are. You can tell me where you seem to be, but this is an assumption that we all hold on to until we begin to really feel very, very constricted by it. Can you live and work and function as a human being when you've no clue at all where you are? Absolutely. And paradoxically, of course, your human beingness is going to function even better when they are just thoughts, just emotions, just states coming and going, just bodies even coming and going. And we're not desperately trying to cling on to this one thing. This one body is my body because I know where I am. If you really begin to examine this, you'll see it is the source of all of our suffering. I know I am here. I'm here as a someone. And the only options for me is to be present as a someone or absent. Present as a someone, absent. Alive, dead, next lifetime. On and on and on it goes. If you can come to realize experientially through this kind of question that I can't really say that I fit into those categories anymore, that I'm not really definable in any location, or I might be more willing to define myself as in every location. Then you begin to experience a much more expansive way of being, in which the body and the mind are just moving and flowing. And there isn't anything specifically affecting you. It's happening inside you. It's happening inside your spaciousness, not completely happening to you. Very, very different experience to have. So you can check it out one more time. Where am I actually? And when you really embrace this question, it begins to bring this quietness inside, this experiential, I don't know, actually. I don't know. I can't say. And that immediately lifts you then out of the realm of mind. The moment I assume I know where I am, I'm vibrationally drawn to these thoughts, then I have a location, I'm a someone, and I'm magnetically attracted to these thoughts. And I'll believe all kinds of thoughts. I've got to climb back out of that. I've got to wake up. I've got to transcend my mind. All of that will seem real. Or I can come to see I'm not really sure I know which is my mind or my body. It's a different way of living, isn't it? Completely different way of being with yourself, of being with your life. I'm just here. Where that is, I don't know. I don't really even need to know, actually. I'm watching this body mind. They do what they do. They seem to be getting clearer and clearer all the time as I just rest as much as I can in this realization that I don't know where I am. Could it be that simple? Could it be that you're trying to do a job that isn't even yours? What is it that's on this journey anyway? Are you even on a journey? Can you say that with any amount of truth now? The body and mind are on a journey. They're constantly evolving and unfolding. But what about you? What's happening to you? So I hope you can feel the power of this question. It's one of my favorite questions. Where am I actually? And the clarity and the power of it to just bring you right out of identification with the body mind. And of course, like everyone, you will go back into identifying. You will forget momentarily. You'll assume that you know where you are, and you'll pick up all the problems of one body mind. And it's fine. You just, when you remember, no big deal. You just pull yourself out of it again. Well, where am I? Let me check that out. Let me actually try to find where I am. When I say me, when I say I, can I find it actually? So to just a simple thing, to want to recognize that you can't find yourself in any particular location, in any place, that you are this placeless place. And then to be interested in what that means. What does that mean actually? Can I really still identify with one thought or one body or one emotion? However conscious, however much each body and mind is reflecting the truth that we are. Is that my journey, or is it just happening inside me already? So if you like that question, play with it and explore it and have fun with it. Do I even need to stay as the self now? Do I even need to transcend my mind? Do I even need to work out my karma? Do I even need to do all of those things if I don't know where I am? Or are they just going to happen? The body and mind will be able to do all that by itself. If I just kind of recognize what's real about me.